I did one showing Tigger at the circus.
Oh
He's
no,
like
Tigger.
standing on a little pedestal with a flaming hoop because tigers have been exploited
Yeah.
in the circus for so long. But yeah, I first did my research. I write out my ideas in an email and I sent it to our stakeholders to review them. Once I get the green light, I can go ahead and start sketching.
Hmm.
Then I get those sketches reviewed, and then if I got the green light there, I can add color.
Wow, you're
And
like a little Walt Disney. But I want to know like what made you go vegan.
what made me go vegan? I feel like I was just like there were little seeds that were planted along the way.
Right.
Like I think my first experience that like made me have a connection to animals was growing up with my family dog. His name was Kalani,
Mm.
which means heaven in Hawaiian, and he certainly was a little
Oh.
heavenly boy. But
Mm.
yeah, just having that connection with him and seeing him as my little brother, like he's an individual, he has feelings,
Right.
like so that was probably the first moment for me. That was around my high school time. Also in high school, I had an environmental science class where I learned
Oh,
about
cool.
how destructive the meat and dairy industry are. And
Wow.
then in college, since I was in fashion school, I learned about how destructive the fashion industry is.
Wow. Good for
So all those
you.
things, thanks. Yeah, so all those things coupled together,
Right.
just along the way, like I knew I was gonna be vegan in the future.
Right.
And
Mm.
I remember like one time we had a project that was like you had to like in art school, you do a lot of like soul searching and stuff. So it was like,
Hmm.
who do you want to be in the future? And I was like, I want to be vegan. And like my friend challenged me, be
You're
vegan
like,
now.
what?
So
Oh,
yeah.
nice. I love that you had that support system.
Mhm.
So, do you think that art is a very effective way in order to approach advocating for animals?
Definitely. I think art is a super effective way to advocate for animals because it has the ability to communicate complex and emotionally charged issues
Mm,
in a way that's like digestible and creates an impact
yeah.
as well as inspires action. And if you think about it, art is really just visual storytelling.
Right.
So,
Mm.
like, we're able to provide a narrative that can capture the plight of animals per se in
Hmm.
various complicated situations in, just a few seconds, like through your phone, through your laptop in my
Right.
case. Like, animals are sentient, they feel
Yeah.
just like you and me. But of course, animals' facial expressions
Right. We
might be
forget about
as,
their facial expressions.
yeah, and their body language, but a lot of times, like, their faces aren't as expressive as ours. So,
Hmm.
art gives me the opportunity to illustrate emotion. Like
Yes.
if I'm drawing, like, say, a dog chained to a doghouse
Yeah.
24/7. I
Mm.
did that with Pluto and several other Disney dogs. I'll draw them with like frowning
Oh.
eyebrows, tears,
Right.
you know.
But does
Um,
that, there could be a downside of that. I want to play devil's advocate here because
Hmm.
while that does help people understand it better because you're creating something that humans can read and
Connect to,
connect to, but
empathize
also
with.
yeah, and understand. But then in reality, because animals don't actually have those expressions, does it is it possible that maybe there's a negative side to it because then people can say, oh, well, animals don't actually do that. And so just because they can't do that, this gives me the right to exploit them.
I think the only downside is if it's done in the wrong way, like ways that harm animals rather than helping them.
What do you mean?
Like if, say, a certain marine park shares drawings of like smiling, happy seals or dolphins performing tricks for human entertainment,
Right.
like
Right.
that's sending a false message to the
Right.
children, the parents, anyone who views it.
Right.
And, we know those animals spend all day swimming in endless circles. They're not happy. And
Right.
like, while a dolphin's jaw might be shaped in a smile, like we
Hmm.
know they wouldn't be smiling. So
Exactly.
I think when personifying animals through art, it's important that we do it in like a truthful way.
Right.
And yeah, the way that we make sure to do that, making art for PETA, is getting it approved by people who specialize in those fields, those who understand like animal body language.
Right.
Because then it's like also when you do see an animal
Right.
that's suffering or in those conditions, you can think back to a Disney movie, or you could think back to Tiani's
Mm-hmm.
drawings, and you could be like, this animal feels pain, this animal
Yeah.
suffers. Like maybe there's a flip side to it
Yeah.
where it's like, oh wait, actually this animal is experiencing XYZ. And this
Exactly.
is why I should care.
Right.
But the point that I guess I'm trying to make is that no matter what that individual is experiencing, we should care because they are experiencing
Exactly.
suffering.
Exactly.
Like that individual is experiencing suffering, and that's why we should care.